I'm Brian Lee Durfee, author of The Forgetting Moon, published by Simon & Schuster Saga Press. Today, I'm going to be reviewing one of my favorite trilogies of all time. The Han Solo Trilogy by A.C. Crispin, part of the Star Wars Legends universe. In fact, it's my favorite part of the Star Wars Legends universe. And A.C. Crispin is a great writer, and that's one of the reasons why I like this trilogy. I mean, of the hundreds of books, like I said, I've told people this before in Comic-Cons when they ask what's your guilty pleasure in reading. And it's not Harlequin romance, it's not 50 Shades of Grey, it's not Harry Potter, it's not Twilight. No, my guilty pleasure is the Star Wars Legends paperbacks. I dig them wholeheartedly. I'm in love with them. And of all the writers that they hired to do it, I think A.C. Crispin was the best. I like the style that A.C. Crispin writes in. Very descriptive. If I was to write a Star Wars trilogy, I'd try to mimic what this writer did with the Han Solo trilogy. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Like I said, it's my favorite trilogy in the Legends universe. And look at the Drew Struzan covers. If you collect these books, you'll know that about half of them were, the cover illustrations were done by Drew Struzan, one of the greatest movie poster artists of all time. And these things are just killer. They make them look so nice, so incredibly nice. I love the whole package. I love the whole package of the Han Solo trilogy, written by a great writer. Now, I wanted to review these books first out of all of the Star Wars Legends because they were my favorites. I'm going to be reviewing all of the other series, like, you know, we've got this one, we've got the... There's so many. There's so many trilogies and different series in the Star Wars Legends universe. And I've got them all, and I'm going to eventually get to reviewing them all. I will review them all as bundles, you know. Trilogy by trilogy, not book by book. As you know, that the Star Wars universe, these are called Legends now because they're not canon. Disney bought out Lucasfilm, and Lucasfilm put out all these books in the 90s and the 2000s, and then Disney came and bought the company and said, these books are no longer part of the Star Wars universe, just forget them. They're just part of some other alternate universe that doesn't exist, and which disappointed a lot of Star Wars fans because there's some great things that are in these books. That's fine, whatever. I have no problem with that. I was like, okay, I still love the books. I'll still read them and reread them and enjoy them for what they are. And I will enjoy the movies that Disney puts out. Or so I thought. So I thought. Boy, was I mistaken. Because they put out a few movies that were garbage. I liked The Force Awakens. I thought they came out of the gate strong. And I thought that the Rogue One was pretty decent. I even thought the Han Solo movie was fun. And I'm disappointed that they're not going to make a sequel. But I'm telling you, man, The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker, I hated those. Here's the thing, is I usually remain positive in my book reviews and my music reviews. Try to remain positive, try to say good, positive things. If I don't like something, I don't review it. But as I review these Star Wars Legends books, some of my dislike for some of the Star Wars movies is going to spill forth. So please forgive me for that. You are going to get some of my negative opinion on stuff. And one of the reasons I feel okay being negative about the Star Wars movies is because, you know, whereas I'm kind to authors, because I know how hard it is for one singular person scratching out a living as an author to write good books. I know how that is. If you're a company that has hundreds and 200s and 300s of millions of dollars to put into a budget for a movie and you can't put out a good movie, well then by God, you deserve to be criticized. Because for $300 million, you got to be able to hire a person that can write a script that isn't just complete fucking shit. And I'm going to tell you, some of those movies that were written, the ones I mentioned, they should have hired A.C. Crispin. They should have hired Timothy Zahn. They should have hired consultants to get this right. because they really messed it up for a lot of people, including myself. Rant, I'll end the rant there. Let's talk about Han Solo, because I did like the Han Solo movie that they put out. I thought it was fun and it was cool. I had no problems with that one. And I'm sad that they're not going to do a sequel. Which makes me even angrier at the two movies that sucked, because those two movies that sucked really sort of ruined things for sort of the good movies that they put out. Anyway, one of the things about those movies that's great is you can kind of tell that some of the stuff from this Han Solo trilogy by A.C. Crispin has sort of worked its way into those movies. You know, Han Solo's girlfriend, the girl he likes, sort of goes to the bad side, sort of betrays him, sort of does some things that aren't cool. Just like in a movie, you know. In the books, though, let's talk about the books just in general now. I don't give spoilers. I think you should, if you're going to read these, I want you to read them fresh. I want you to go into the plot not knowing much, because that's where all the fun is. But let's just talk about, this starts off with the Paradise Snare up here, where Han Solo is just a 19-year-old kid. He's a pickpocket, a smuggler, gets himself into trouble all the time. He wants to be a pilot. Again, just like the movie, a lot of similarities. The movie took a lot of the stuff. He's got his little girlfriend, Bria, you know, and off on he causes trouble just like he does in the movie, and off on his adventure he goes with he gets embroiled in a lot of different plots. In the second book, the Paradise Snare, he runs into Jabba the Hutt. He runs into a lot of different assassins and bounty hunters, including our friend Boba Fett, and the interactions between Han Solo and Boba Fett are awesome, entertaining. And I think if we would have got some more Han Solo movies, we probably would have seen similar stuff with Boba Fett and Lando Calrissian and the Jabba the Hutts of the universe, and it would have been awesome. I really wish they would make some more Han Solo movies. They don't even need to call it Han Solo. They could call it Lando Calrissian or something. I still would do a trilogy, you know. You know, they did the Han Solo movie. This is the way I would do it. I would do Han Solo. This would be all a story arc here. Han Solo the first movie, Lando Calrissian the second movie. Just call it Lando. But continue on the story that we left off in. And then have a third movie called maybe Boba Fett, and finish that arc of that story, and we'd have a nice little trilogy with those three characters. That's what I'd do if I was Lucasfilm or Disney. But they ain't gonna do that. They're gonna give us some other crap, I'm sure. Thank God they gave us the Mandalorian, which is awesome. Thank God for that. Oh my God, at least there's one cool thing they did. One fantastically cool thing in the Mandalorian. The Force Awakens was pretty cool. Rogue One was aight. It was aight cool. Han Solo was, he was alright. But oh my gosh, man, did I not like those other two movies? The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. Whoa, man. They drove the franchise into the ditch. They drove it into the ditch. They need somebody to pull it back out of the ditch. Anyway, that's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see more Han Solo movies. I liked the first one. Anyway, Rebel Dawn is the third movie, you know, and we get more stuff. And the thing that's cool about the arc of this is he starts out at 19 years old. He goes through all these adventures. And in the very last book, on the very few last pages, we find out he's in Tatooine. Wow, this is giving a spoiler away. What the fuck? Spoiler alert. If you don't want to know what happens in the very last book, let's just say, just turn it off now. But I think it's cool enough to mention. He's in Tatooine. He's gone from 19 years old up into later years, and now he's in Tatooine in the last book. And Boba Fett and everybody else is there, and the book ends right at the beginning of when Luke and Obi-Wan walk into the cantina at Mos Eisley. I thought that was awesome. Just awesome. These adventures are really cool. These adventures are cool and well written. And it's nice that the Han Solo movie actually pulled some ideas from these books. Maybe they didn't get these directly from the books. I don't know. But there are some parallels between the Han Solo movies and these books, which was great. I liked it. Han Solo Trilogy. If you want to read some great books, great science fiction books, not just great Star Wars books, but just great science fiction, get this Han Solo Trilogy by A.C. Crispin, because it's magnificent.